even shake each other's hands, let alone their opponents, Nigel.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see a code of honor in this one. We already have an... Wait, look at that!
Well, Charlie Haas, it looked like he was pointing out a young fan, and Charlie dumped Titus to the floor so that he could start the match. I think we know who wants to be in control of this team.
Absolutely, but to me, that's a stupid move on Charlie Haas's part. You may not like your tag team partner, but he's got to understand, if he gets in trouble in this one, there's only one man out there who can help him, and that's Rhett Titus. So why irritate him?
And the one question that's been lingering with me all week is, why would Charlie Haas agree to do this unless he truly does fear Rhett Titus a little bit? Because think about it, who would Haas pick as a partner? Everyone in ROH except for Shelton Benjamin absolutely despises Charlie Haas. And Rhett Titus could have the pick of the litter. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are friendly with Rhett. A lot of guys that feel that Rhett, you know, kind of got the raw end of things in the way they lost the tag team titles.
Yeah, that's a great point, Kevin. That's a great point.
And so maybe Haas decided he wanted to try to be in control of his own tag team title destiny by picking what he thought would be the best, I guess, unassigned tag team specialist in this tournament. And we'll see how it goes here. But the Guardians of Truth, more questions than answers. And with Truth Martini directing them, anything is possible at any time. Of course, Martini was out here earlier on spouting off about Rhino and the challenge of Kevin Steen, Chicago, Death Before Dishonor 10, and also trying to sing that song again about harmony within the House of Truth, Nigel. You buying that for a second?
I don't buy anything that man says, you know. To coin a phrase, I wouldn't believe him if his tongue was notarized. But to be perfectly honest with you, if he believes in it, and maybe his guys believe in it, confidence goes a long way, Kevin Kelly, without a doubt.
Yeah, it does. But the one thing that Truth Martini did say that is true, I do believe, is that Rhino, well, he said will, but I think can, defeat Kevin Steen and end Steen and Scum's reign of terror here in ROH. And look at what the Guardians of Truth did. Now, on Truth Martini's asking, coming down to attack Carino and Jacobs, knowing that if Carino and Jacobs are out of the picture, it might be easier for Rhino to defeat Steen. In fact, it would be easier for Rhino to defeat Steen at Death Before Dishonor and become the Ring of Honor World Champion.
It's a smart man, without a doubt.
And of course, we're getting set to come back next Saturday night to Charlotte. What a night it's going to be. Steel cage action as the Briscoes and Rhett Titus will team against Carino, Jacobs, and Kevin Steen. That's in Charlotte next Saturday. ROHWrestling.com for information and tickets. So a Guardians of Truth here with another double team opportunity on the outlaw Charlie Haas.
Thus far, it looks like a bad decision for Charlie to start this off. And there we go. Tags in Titus to see if he can do any better.
A very aggressive tag there. And this is where this very tenuous relationship at best.
Titus, you got to turn around, pay attention.
Left himself open.
Yeah.
And we mentioned veterans. You really feel that about these Guardians of Truth, Nigel.
You can see the way they wrestle, the way they slow it down. Fast, frequent tags in and out, in and out. You've definitely seen them wrestling somewhere else before. You just can't put your finger on it.
Of course, Truth Martini had said before we saw the Guardians of Truth for the first time that these men have been all over the world. And they've been in trouble. They've done many, many bad things all across the globe in professional wrestling. So Titus's left arm getting rung up now by one of the members of the Guardians of Truth.
There we go. It's a nice way out of it. Just got to hook those feet. There we go.
Briscoe brothers will be in action next week as the first round wraps up against Northeast standouts Blackout.
Come on.
You see there the Guardian came out of the head scissors, tried to jump over to the headlock, but Titus moved out of the way. Too smart right there. You got to be asking yourself, normally Titus at this point, once he was down, would be thinking about tagging in Kenny King. What's he thinking now? Whoa, big backdrop.
Certainly is. Rhett Titus trying to rebuild the pieces of his career. Haas made a mistake there. And now Haas coming in. Titus missed an opportunity to make a tag though because of it, Nigel.
And there's another mistake, yeah. You know, I can't imagine Charlie Haas doing that, but maybe he's trying to prove a point.
And no tag from the Guardians of Truth, but Todd Sinclair can't tell one from the other and was distracted to boot. So the Guardians are in control here. Next week, talk about good news for the House of Truth. Michael Elgin will challenge Adam Cole for the World Television title. That's here on TV next week. You can't miss it, fans.
Still going to work on that arm. Mentioned earlier, talking about a veteran tag team, and that's what you do. You focus on a body part, been working on that left arm.
Here is a cover to Titus is in a lot of trouble. We have one more commercial break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. We're back on Ring of Honor Wrestling. First round tournament action. Haas and Titus, the odd couple, against the Guardians of Truth. Red Titus been taking a beating from the Guardians throughout the commercial break. Charlie Haas imploring Red Titus to make a tag, but not exactly helping Titus out at all. Oh!
Going back into the ropes and spinning out there. I'm not sure if it was caught on the monitor or not, but Titus, chin buster, trying to come back. When he went back to the ropes, Guardian 1 or 2, whichever he was, lifted up that top rope. Titus fell through and out to the outside, and that can break an ankle.
Winners will advance to face Carino and Jacobs at Death Before Dishonor 10. It's on pay-per-view, fans. Go to ROHWrestling.com for information. Feet are on the ropes, but Titus was able to kick out nonetheless. And now trying to play with the emotions of Charlie Haas, which always run at a fever pitch. Trying to bait the Outlaw to come back in again. And the Guardians of Truth have really taken the crowd out of this one, Nigel.
Yeah, I mean, they've just ground and ground and ground down Rhett Titus now. Normally, Rhett would be here in Kenny King in the corner, pumping up the crowd, trying to get them in it, screaming to make the tag. I don't know what Charlie said there, but it wasn't too positive.
Probably was laced with some four-letter words. The man who works in obscenities the way Picasso did with paints. Another slam now. It is a systematic dismantling of Rhett Titus, courtesy of the Guardians of Truth. With the legs tied up, Nigel, this can only mean one thing.
Well, look at this. He's got nowhere to go, no way of protecting himself. They didn't get all of it, but they got enough of it. Trying almost for an elbow drop into a curb stomp. As I said, timing was just a slight bit off, but take a look at Titus. He's nearly out here.
Two. Charlie was coming in to break it up, but Titus was kicking out nonetheless. And we can't forget about the toughness of Titus that we saw at Best in the World, Nigel.
Yeah, I mean, this kid's got guts and determination. Started at the very bottom in the Ring of Honor Wrestling School, worked his way onto the first opening show, and became tag team champion here.
And then just as he had reached the pinnacle of his ROH career, everything changed. And now Titus finds himself paired with the man, one half of the team that had bloodied and battered him in New York. But nonetheless, Titus was able to get the victory over at Best in the World.
It was so close there, so close. Must have been knocked senseless, because wait a second.
Well, Haas with the opportunistic.
He's 6 feet away. He's got to get there and make that tag.
And now Titus went for the leap to tag with the Guardian of Truth that was out on the floor, courtesy of Haas. Wait a minute now. The other Guardian is in. Titus having to fight all by himself because his partner got wiped out in the barricade.
Titus on Dream Street there, barely knew where he was, but finally getting his bearings back now.
Belly to back suplex. Titus fighting onward, but still, oh, what a great drop kick. He's reaching down deep.
There you go, gaining his faculties back.
Here comes Titus now, head of steam. The eyes are starting to clear. Nails him. Cover, 2. The other member of the Guardian of Truth was still in the ring. A mistake there. Power slams him down.
Well, he just signaled to his partner in the corner there. Perhaps this is their finishing maneuver. Setting up for a powerbomb. Wait a second.
Charlie Haas just turnabout fair play. Wait a minute, 2, got him!
The winners of the match, the team over at Titus and the Outlaw, Charlie Haas.
The most unlikely of teams scores victory. And look at the way Charlie Haas is in the center of the glory there, Nigel.
Well, I guess he figures he takes the most of the credit for that one, for crotching one of the Guardians of Truth. But in my mind, every part of that was Red Titus. Jackknife pin, and well, look at this.
What an arrogant, hold on, wait a minute, look out.
Turn around.
Look out from behind. Carino and Jacobs are coming back out after the Guardians of Truth.
And the odd couple of Titus and Haas, they don't want any part of this.
So Titus and Haas advance, but now Carino and the Guardians going at it. Repaying from earlier on. Carino and Jacobs are wearing out the Guardians.
And this is really developing into a feud here. The House of Truth and Scum.
This is going to get out of control. No one has any remorse in these two groups. The Briscoes versus Blackout, and Cole beats Elgin for the TV title. That's next week.